please explain to me and to Keyshawn why the Seahawks will beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, because Dallas doesn't beat any teams over 500. Skip, I'm sorry. That's just who they are, and that's who they have been. They've won a lot of games at home against inferior opponents. Seattle's defense didn't play as well as they're used to against the San Francisco 49ers, but who has? I mean, they gave up less points than Dallas's defense.
Yep.
So,
yep.
But offensively, Geno's getting his right tackle back. They're getting a little healthier on the offensive line, which is necessary.
Yep.
They have the playmakers. Smith and Jigba is coming into his own. DK Metcalf has historically played well against the Dallas Cowboys. That's just how it's been. Geno, when he has time, has been effective. He has not had time this season because this offensive line has been in flux. They've been beat up. Defensively, these young corners, Devin Witherspoon is having a defensive rookie of the year type season. He's out there getting sacks, forced fumbles. He got a pick six. I think it was 90-something yards against Detroit. He's played very well. He's done everything they've asked him to do. Tariq Woolen got pulled because he's been kind of beat up and wasn't tackling well last game. But in coverage, he's been very good. Bobby Wagner's having another all-pro season. So I just feel like with Leonard Williams on the inside, this is going to be much more of a dogfight than Dallas Cowboys are expecting.
Okay, and what kind of score are you thinking? Close game, significant win, convincing win.
Oh, it's going to be 24-21 Seattle.
Okay.
I'm
chuckling at your pick.
No, I'm not chuckling. I'm with Rich though. I hear everything Rich is saying about getting people back and Bobby Wagner playing his all-time high and the young corners and the defensive side of the ball is not my concern for Seattle up against the Dallas Cowboys. It's the offensive side of the ball. In particular, the last 4 weeks of this season, was weeks 9 through 12. Seattle's offense has been dismal. I mean, when you look at where they were at the beginning of the season when I thought, okay, they can go into Jerry World and they can win this game. But the last 4 weeks have convinced me to flip, as they say, on the fence. But I flipped completely in this game where Dallas is going to win the game. And it's not going to be a blowout, but Dallas will win by 10, 12 points. They'll get a cheap score late in the game because Geno will be driving, and there may be a pick, and then Dallas will go down and try to run up the score to make it seem as though that they've beaten a 6-5 team. Look, they're over 500, so we can have that conversation. When you look at Seattle's offense, point per game, in the last 9 to 12 weeks, they're 27th. Okay? You look at yards per game, they're 26. Sacks allowed, 25th. Third down conversions, 31st. And their record is 1-3 in those 4 games. So when I look at this type of team in these last 4 weeks, hey, Richard, this is right up the Cowboys' alley. A team that's 1-3 in the last 4 weeks is like the rest of the teams that they've been playing on their schedule the entire way. So it's set up perfect for Dallas to win and Skip to say, see, we beat a team that's 6-5. Ooh, they're over 500. Well, not the last 4 weeks, they're not. They're a bad team. So they're a bad football team the last 4 weeks of the season.
You have just dismissed Seattle as a tomato can, a cupcake, a little sister.
No, they are right now. They're 1-3. They're playing like tomato cans.
Okay.
Now, I understand what Rich is saying. They can get back in it because they got some pieces coming back and whatnot. Dallas's defense against this offense should dominate them based on the way that Seattle has played in the last 4 weeks. And I know you're not slick, Skip. You'll try to point to the 6-5 above 500. See, we beat them.
I mean, a fact is a fact.
No, it's not in my eyes because I look at the last 4 weeks, just like when we scout, Richard, when we look at tape, what do we look at? The last 4 to 5 weeks of a team.
Games.
We don't look at the entire season. Maybe we do in our downtime because that's just we want the extra work. But in our scouting report is the last 4 to 5 weeks. And this is a scouting report I'm giving you on Seattle in the last 4 weeks or so. They're not a very good football team. So don't get all happy and giddy when the Cowboys beat them on tomorrow night.
It sounds suspiciously to me like somebody sitting across from me is already planting excuses to protect himself so that when he comes in here on Friday...
I'm picking the Cowboys!
He'll say, well, I told you so. It was another tomato can.
Look, dude.
Right? When will it start?
Dude.
All of a sudden,
Seriously.
The Eagles are going to be tomato cans.
No, the Eagles will never be tomato.
49ers,
but the Eagles haven't lost 3 out of the last 4 either, Skip. This falls in that Jets, Giants, Commander. Am I lying, Richard?
You can't get a break. Yes, you're lying.
So how am I lying in the last 4
Well, you
weeks?
just heard Richard. He knows his team.
No,
he made astute points about how good this team is.
You want that to be the case so
Dallas,
you can argue with me.
Skip.
I know you.
Listen to Richard. He's the expert.
I wish we could fast forward to the playoffs when y'all getting eliminated, so we could just have a celebration already. Because none of this will be relevant at the end. Y'all are not winning the Super Bowl this year. You know that. I know that. So this is just us pontificating for a while. If you don't know it, you're delusional. But that is already what we established.
Okay. All right.
You'll be talking about what if the Cowboys won the Super Bowl? We've been saying that for the last 3 decades. This will be a good game. Seattle Seahawks. If they get Kenneth Walker the third back, this will be a dogfight.
It sounds
Believe you,
shaky.
mark my words.
It sounds shaky about Kenneth Walker playing. He did not practice, obviously, yesterday, and they're saying that it's more likely he'll be out than even doubtful for the game. So,
Skip, as you like to say, would you give me this, though? Out of all the silliness that you display day in and day out on this show,
the truth,
can you give me this? Based on the last 4 weeks in Seattle's offense and the way that they've played versus the way the Dallas Cowboys defense has played, should the Dallas Cowboys defense against this Seattle offense look like the 85 Bears? Can you give me that?
well,
Can you give it to me?
No, we should win the game. I don't know about 85 Bears. I'm not going to go there.
Okay, say look like the Legion of Boom. Could they be looking like the Legion of Boom up against this offense? They should, right?
Okay.
Michael Parsons and Bland. And
Look, this game to me boils down to simply this. I'm going to simplify it for you.
You won't answer.
Okay? No, I'm just telling you. It boils down to there's no way I can see Geno Smith playing well enough to outplay Dak Prescott at Jerry World on a Thursday night.
So what you're saying then is
we have won 13 straight games at home, we have established a new overwhelming home field advantage that nobody wants to talk about except me.
Yeah.
And over those 13
Because you
games,
haven't beaten anybody at home.
we have won by an average of 37-16. Over 13 games, we've averaged 37-16 winning at home. No close games. Tomato cans.
So based on that, what you just said then is what you're saying, then Geno Smith and his offense shouldn't be able to do anything against your vaunted defense and Michael Parsons, 11 from heaven, right? That's what you're saying.
Hey,
because you won 13 straight games. Isn't that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm agreeing, but I also agree with Richard. DK has had some big games against us. Tyler Lockett has had some big games against us. And listen, all he does is just make plays. He made a play in the playoff game in which we beat Russell Wilson at Jerry World in a playoff game. We did that. We beat him, and it was Dak's first playoff win. And just when I thought it was safe to heave a sigh of relief, Tyler Lockett caught some 60-yard pass from Russell Wilson, and all of a sudden it got close at the end, and it was 24-22 Dallas. Okay, so would it be that kind of game? Well, again, is Geno Russell Wilson? He's just not. I'm sorry. I respect him.
So you're on record. I got you right here. Skip Bayless is on record, as Skip says. I got you on record saying Geno Smith isn't worth the price of admission. Is that what you said? That's what you just said.
No. In fact, I'm looking at what Pro Football Focus grades him, and they actually like him.
I like him too.
They say he's pretty good. They have Seattle as they got Geno 16th best, and in QBR he's 20th. He's somewhere in the middle of the pack, and they got Seattle. They like Seattle. Pro Football Focus has them graded as the 10th best team, but they have my team graded as the 3rd best team. And listen, that Devin Witherspoon, to Richard's point, he is playing like the defensive rookie of the year. He is graded right now among cornerbacks as the 4th best, but guess who's number 1? Deron Bland is graded number 1 at cornerback. Well, he's having a defensive player of the year kind of a year. I don't know if a cornerback can win it. Stephon Gilmore did. I don't know if a second-year cornerback from nowhere could win it, but hey, he is doing that. He's had 5, obviously, NFL record, 5 interceptions returned for touchdowns. So to me, my team is just better, a little better everywhere than Seattle. And you guys have been pointing to this game for weeks. I got a dinner bet with Richard on it. If you want a dinner bet,
I'm taking the Cowboys.
You flipped
because the team is playing
you know why?
bad.
Because you've made little comments that you want to sweep under your little carpet over there, but you've been making little comments all week about, this team is looking really good right now.
Y'all have beaten absolutely nobody at home. You've beaten, if you look at the record of the teams you've beat at home,
What's the record?
It's so far under 500. It's ridiculous. What's your playoff record at home? over the last decade. We'll stop there. We'll start there, and we'll end it there. Clearly, they don't care. They only care about regular season wins because that's all you got in the last 3 decades. So this game will be a closer game than people anticipate. This isn't a Super Bowl team in Dallas. I know that, you know that, we know that. This will be a good game. I think Seattle still pulls it out.
Skip, you say that I'm sweeping things under the rug. No, I'm not. I am as objective as anybody that you ever gonna have a conversation with about teams. I'm looking at Seattle right now. I ran off statistics to you. They're 1-3 in the last 4. They're not playing good football on the offensive side of the ball.
I know, but they had to deal with the 49ers.
It doesn't matter.
They got 49ers.
It does not matter if it was the 49ers or not. That's one game. I mentioned 4 games, not one game. They have lost 3 of the last 4. Okay, so when you're looking at this, you're saying that I'm saying to myself, unless they can get it turned around against a red-hot Dallas Cowboy team at home that has been playing pretty good and the quarterback is playing pretty lights-out football against a bunch of tomato cans, unless all of a sudden Geno Smith and company turn into what they were at the beginning of the season, Dallas should win this game. That's the way I see it.
Okay, that's the way
But at the same time, I'm not foolish enough to think that they're not going to try to win the game. They just going to go into Dallas and lay down for the Cowboys? No, they're not. They're going to try to figure it out.
No, I agree with you. Yet, what did you tell me after you watched Dallas on Thanksgiving? You said that team had the look of a Super Bowl team.
No, that's not what I said.
Yes, you did.
I said if they play this way against plus 500 teams, they may have a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, that's but
Richard's laughing at you.
But you've yet to play anything. See, this is when, Richard, this is when whatever little bit of hair I have on my head, I have to pull out. And you make me just frown up so people think that you and I don't get along. Because you start going down the track.
Who thinks that?
Just people in the streets. You know how they are. So people would say to me, is Skip delusional? Well, of course he is. Because you just put yourself in this position to now all of a sudden think that I said they're going to win the Super Bowl if they win game against plus 500 teams that they play like they played on Thanksgiving. That means you got to beat Buffalo the same way. You got to beat the San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs the same way.
That's why you can't give him an inch. That's why you can't give him an inch, Key.
Yes, as our mother would say, you give him an inch, he wants a yard.
No,
okay?
a mile.
A mile. Yeah, a mile. You're just a little bit. Give him a rope, he wants to be a Cowboy.
So wait a second. This is a plus 500 team, right?
But this is what I said. Did not see now. You know what, man? You get ready to
this
make me.
This is what I'm saying, Key. Don't let him get you, Key. Don't let him get you, Key.
No, because I knew he was going to try that slickness. They're 6-5 and playing bad football.
Are what their record says they are.
Yeah, but if you 6-5 and you lost 3 of your last 4,
you have a team that has not beat a team over 500 yet. You also made an argument against a Philadelphia Eagles team that beat 3 8-win teams, including your team. So at the end of the day, you should stand by it. Your team will be standing by watching somebody else win the Super Bowl this year because they are not a team built to win a Super Bowl in any capacity.
You just heard Richard Sherman with a high football IQ explain to you why Seattle will beat Dallas. So this is going to be a very credible win for Dallas if, in fact, Dallas can somehow figure out how to beat the Seattle Seahawks that Richard loves.
Just because Richard picked Seattle.
We have credibility now.
Just because Richard picked Seattle doesn't mean it's a credible win because they 6-5 and Richard says that Seattle beats him, but Dallas beats him. That doesn't justify anything.
Yes, it does.
It does not.
Richard freaking Sherman saying it.
Man, I don't care. I don't care if it was Vince Lombardi saying it. I'd agree.
Well be. All right.
Like, come on. They lost 3 of 4. They're not playing good football right now.
Way to go, Richard. I'm with you on this one.
Anytime. I'm
so
here,
gonna make me
all
pick.
week.
He's going to make me change my pick, man.
Before it's over. All right, we got to get back to John Sally, and he's about to tell you just how great Victor Wembanyama is about to become, as in the GOAT. No mercy, no mercy, no mercy. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.